You're welcome to this news hour on Equinoxe television with me, Babla Jonathan. Another atrocity recorded in the context of the 5-year-long armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. An administrative officer, the divisional officer of Equinoxe in the Indian division, and the mayor of that locality killed in an ambush, and other persons have also reported dead in that incident in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. Also in this newscast, we shall bring to you updates on the Operation Death Chalk, that is the strike of government school teachers across the Republic of Cameroon. Many more teachers are joining the train, pressing for solutions to the plight. Stay with us. An administrative officer, the divisional officer of the Kondo-Titi subdivision in the Indian division southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and the mayor of that locality killed in an ambush in that part of the country. Other persons also reported in the explosion that occurred today, an explosive device planted on the road and which was detonated and led to the death of at least 4 persons. A correspondent, Derek Jato, in the southwest region, is monitoring the situation from the Limbe Mortuary Hospital, Limbe Regional Mortuary Hospital, where the corpses are expected to arrive anytime soon. Derek Jato is on the line to Limbe.
We are here at the Maiwand Regional Hospital Mortuary, and behind me is the Mourners Hall, where you are hearing family members, friends, well-wishers and sympathizers. They are all making their entrances here at the mortuary of the Limbe Maiwan Regional Hospital. They have gotten the news equally, and it is now clear to them that though it is very, very difficult to believe, it is a reality and it is a verified truth that the divisional officer for Equinoxe subdivision, in the person of Timothée Abolua, the mayor of Equinoxe municipality, in the person of Kenneth Nanji, the section president of the CBDM Fondian, in the person of Eboko Williams, the driver of the territorial surveillance commander of Equinoxe, in the person of Meg Stanley, and Ajudang Akono, the territorial surveillance commander of Equinoxe subdivision, all lost their lives this day at about 11:30 a.m. when they were on an economic and socio-economic tour to Bikora. Bikora is a village not far from Equinoxe main town. We have been made to understand that from Equinoxe center to Bikora is about a 40-minute drive. And when this convoy being headed by the divisional officer for Equinoxe covered about 20 about a half the journey, about a 20 minutes drive, their vehicle stepped on an improvised explosive planted by the separatist fighters that took the lives of these 5 Cameroonians, including that of the divisional officer for the Kondo-Titi subdivision. This is the situation here. The family members are all making their entrances here, and they are finding it very difficult to believe that their loved ones went for work and they will not be coming home anytime, and they will not be coming home for life. So this is the situation here. We are waiting for the corpses to be brought here at the Limbe Maiwan Regional Mortuary, and this is a situation that is very, very disturbing. People have been condemning such acts. People have been calling on the power that be to look into the solution of the Anglophone crisis, that Cameroonians have lost their lives and they cannot continue losing their lives. But whatsoever be the case, Southwest is bereaved. Cameroon is mourning as the executive has again lost an executive officer. Derek Jato from the Limbe Maiwan Regional Hospital Mortuary, signing out.
We'll keep you updated as far as that tragedy is concerned. Another tragedy recorded in the ongoing armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. And for over 5 years today, The administration has been struggling to put an end to the secessionist activities with the use of military force and dialogue, but till date the situation has continued worsening, with such atrocities recorded at close intervals of time, either in the northwest or in the southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. In the northwest region, recently was a nurse who was killed by gunmen in that part of the country, and before that a uniformed officer who gunned down two persons around the Yaba Hotel in the town of Bamenda. And of course, there have been widespread condemnation coming from across the board: civil society leaders, political leaders, human rights defenders, national and international rights organizations, condemning the slow pace at which the government of the Republic of Cameroon is solving that problem, and also the use of military force, which is said to be worsening the situation and further radicalizing many more persons who are joining the ranks of armed fighters in those two English-speaking regions of the country. And the government has maintained its track of dialogue to solve that problem. And of course, we will be bringing to you more updates. Catholic Christians in the town of Douala have prayed for God's intervention in the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. They were praying today on Ash Wednesday, which marks the beginning of the Lent season. The Christians converge on the St. Peter and Paul Cathedral here in Douala. For me, Armstrong Sander reports.
Speaker with Catholic Christians, Ash Wednesday marks the beginning of Lent, which is a 40-day season marked by repentance, fasting, reflection, and ultimately celebration. At the St. Peter and Paul Cathedral in Douala, Christians went beyond the war in Ukraine, as demanded by Pope Francis, to pray for an end to the over 5-year armed conflict in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon.
En Ukraine, et le Saint-Père nous a invités spécialement aujourd'hui à prier pour la paix.
The Holy Father asks us to pray for peace in Ukraine, and we have prayed that this peace be extended to Cameroon, especially in the conflicts in the northwest, southwest, and the far north regions. This period should serve as a moment of renaissance in Cameroon.
Dans la foi, faire notre examen de conscience pour savoir que nous sommes tous les frères.
Above the calls for God to save humanity in the northwest, southwest, and the far north regions, Christians in Douala called on nepotical and corrupt Cameroonians to repent before the end of Lent. According to Reverend Father Honatonye Bernal, the officiating priest,
Nous allons éviter les injustices, nous allons éviter la corruption, le vol, les détournements publics.
If we truly repent, we shall avoid corruption, injustice, stealing, and the embezzlement of public funds.
Nous allons travailler pour que notre pays.
The 40-day period represents Christ's time of temptation in the wilderness, where he fasted and was tempted by Satan.
Teachers of government schools across the Republic of Cameroon continue with their Operation Death Chalk, a strike action that's been going on for close to 2 weeks now, and the teachers are pressing for better working conditions and for their rights to be respected. They have a plethora of revendications that they are presenting to the administration and asking for immediate solutions, and many more teachers are joining the rank of protesters. They are out of their classrooms, and classes have not been going on. The teaching and learning process has been interrupted, and there are concerns about the impact of that on the performance of students, especially those preparing for official examinations. Mala Glory has more.
Early Wednesday, a normal school day in Cameroon. Teachers at the government's bilingual high school New Bell Douala 2 subdivision are not in class with chalk, but outside the classroom with disgruntled looks and placards. On them are diverse messages like no incentives, no advancements, 6 to 14 years with either half or no salary. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. We cannot be indifferent.
We want all our monies to be paid to us. All. We don't want 20% of our money to be deducted at ministries. when it is our right to get that money. We want our salaries. We want some of our teachers that are having one-third of their monies. So we want the government to pay all this money. Our incentives are so insultive. We need incentives that are meritorious. In fact, like my colleagues have said, we need family allowance. We need automatic development, automatic advancements. We do not need to run from ministry to ministry to get our monies.
A similar situation at government's bilingual high school Nilondok Pasi in the Douala 3 subdivision.
We are tired of the government not listening to us. We have many problems which they don't want to look into. First of all, we have people without no salaries who are working. People with half salaries. People with grown-ups that are not coming out. People with advancements that are going nowhere. So we are here crying that the government should come and look into our situation and readjust what has to be readjusted.
These disgruntled teachers are adamant they will not touch the chalk, step feet in the classroom, or impact knowledge to the stranded students, who have also been begging leaders in Cameroon to pay their teachers so they can be impacted knowledge.
If our children are in school today and not going to school, it is in front of the government. So they should look into us and adjust our situation and make life better for teachers.
These teachers also revealed they have accumulated unpaid GCE and baccalaureate dues.
We will not teach until they do what we want. I think in other fields, when people are going out for missions, they are given the money for mission. But for teachers, we must work and wait 2 years, 3 years for that. So we want this mission money to be given to us too, the moment we are going for mission.
According to them, what affects coffee must affect cocoa.
Titanjo, an educationist, condemns or decries the fact that teachers are maltreated by government, while other civil servants who are taught by those teachers are being given all the privileges. And he was reacting to the ongoing strike of teachers and the reaction of government, which till now is still far below the expectations of the protesting teachers. Take a listen to him.
As the teacher strike is concerned, I believe the government should be more responsible. You see, these are the things that this government does that causes a lot of problem in the country. You see, the Anglophone crisis started like a joke. Now we have been in a war for 6 years. When teachers are crying, they have the right to cry. Now, when you talk about salaries, salary arrears are not paid as they are supposed to be paid. They are negotiated. Somebody will graduate from ENS or Equinoxe, as they call it in French. The person has to go to Yaoundé and negotiate his salary arrears. That is money you work for. You negotiate a percentage of that money. This is nonsense. It should not be done, because this is not done in other professions. It is not done in the police service. It's not done in the military. It's not done in other professions. In the custom service, it's not done. Why should it be done to teachers? In addition to that, when teachers, young teachers leave ENS after their training, they cannot pay their complete salary. They give them 1/3 or 2/3 of their salary. Why should that be done only to teachers? Teachers have so much been minimized. Teachers are the ones who train the police, who train the soldiers, who train all the other fields, but they are the ones badly treated by this government of Cameroon. A government who cannot treat its teachers well has no place, has no future. They don't know where they are going to. In addition to that, advancement for teachers' salary should be automatic. Teachers do not need to go to Yaoundé and pay money for their advancement to be paid to them. Advancement should be automatic. These are things that the government, when I look at our government, I laugh. Because at times I even feel like crying. I have never seen a situation where a soldier will have to go to Yaoundé to look for advancement. These advancements are automatic. Why is it that when it comes to a teaching profession, teachers need to run to Yaoundé?
That was Fege Titanjo, an educationist, speaking then, and he's worried and concerned about the fact that the Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Nalova Lionga, according to him, has done little or nothing to improve on the educational system of the country. And he indicates that much should have been done by now especially with the decentralization process, which, according to him, seems not to be solving the problem of education, in particular, or the educational sector, not only for the two English-speaking regions of the country, but across the board. We have details in this extract.
What has been sent to Yaoundé? All activity, money that is paid for GC registration goes to Yaoundé. Everything. We are talking about decentralization, but it is the opposite. Everything now is being centralized at the ministry. Even GC registration process that used to be handled by the GC body in Buea has now been centralized at the ministry. Now, even teachers' registration for marking has been centralized to Yaoundé. And what is the decentralization we're talking about? So that everything should be put in the corrupt regime of Yaoundé. We cannot accept that anymore. I thought when Dr. Nalova will get into office, things will be better. But it's getting worse because the centralization is getting worse. Those of us who are chief of centers, we are facing difficulties in having invigilators because teachers are no longer interested in invigilating the GC exam. Why? Teachers will go for marking session. They will mark the GC, go to Buea, mark the GC. It will take months, even close to a year, for their outstation allowance to be paid to them. This is money that these teachers have spent from their pockets to go and pay hotels in Buea to mark these exams. You come to GC invigilation. A section is paid, a GC invigilation session is paid 1,000 francs per section. Teachers come and spend 4 hours, 30 minutes a session, and they are paid 1,000 francs. When you go to other francophone exams, like the baccalaureate, you go to the probatoire, you go to the BPC, they pay 3,500, 4,000 a section. Why should our own things be like that? And we say there's no marginalization. Why should there be centralization? These things were better in the days when the GC board used to control the finances. If these teachers are on strike, the government should better watch out, because this is how the Anglophone crisis intensifies. They say the word to a wise is sufficient.
In the same vein, concerning the maltreatment of teachers, we take you to Ezeka in the Nyong and Kele Division, Central Region of the Republic of Cameroon, where some teachers have been abandoned in a very disturbing situation. They went there to take part in a workshop, but the workshop ended in a very, very unusual manner, as Manjikan Gebre reports.
Stranded teachers at a workshop venue in Ezeka, Young and Kele division of the Central Region. These teachers, drawn from different subdivisions, were invited for a capacity building workshop, but the treatment given to them was a surprise to the workshop participants. I have been here for the past 2 days, no place to eat. In fact, we don't have the welcome we expected. At the entrance into the hall, there is no bucket to wash hands. There is no coffee break. No practical modalities. I slept at the Ezeka Park because I knew nobody here, since I'm coming from Mesondo, and I'm told the workshop is for 5 days, and I'm having empty stomach since I arrived. The teachers also decried the fact that some modalities, which are always made when such capacity building workshops are being organized, haven't been respected by those at the helm. The modalities that are usually observed in the workshop are not there. Payment of transport, accommodations, and other logistics are inadequate. I'm from Mesondo subdivision. I arrived here. It's 3 days now, since I have to be part of the opening of the workshop. I have asked the modalities of the workshop and was told the financer is not yet there. Throughout the day, we had no food. Later, we were told that food is coming by 1 p.m., but it's only at about 3 p.m. that it finally arrived in an old tricycle and a woman on it. We asked if the woman has an authorization signed to do catering, looking at her physical appearance.
Bon, on se demande donc si cette dame a un certificat médical en bonne et due forme signé par une autorité compétente.
The capacity building workshop, which has brought together over 100 teachers from 3 subdivisions, Mesondo, Biua, and Ezeka, is expected to end this Friday.
Cameroon's Basic Education Minister Professor Laurent Serge Tundingwa reiterates his commitment and determination to shut down all clandestine schools still operating across the national territory. He made this declaration at the end of his working visit to the country's economic capital, Douala, and he also promised that government is going to take care of the pupil who was severely beaten, tortured by his teacher in the Douala 3 subdivision, and talking about a possible strike action in the basic education sector. The minister says things are being put in order. Take a listen to Minister Laurent Serge Tundingwa.
We come to Douala like an envoy of the President of the Republic, with a prescription of the Prime Minister who sent us here to come and have a clear situation of the incident who happened to this young guy of 9 years old. Isaac, they call him. And we came and we want to say that we are not due to such incidents in Cameroon. Since I came to the Ministry of Basic Education, it is the very first incident of that kind that I'm facing. We came and saw really the reason why it happened. We cannot explain it because they thought that is a gesture from a parent, which kid was very disobedient home, who didn't listen to anything. The mother brought the child to his teacher to be punished. Even if that was the case, you cannot go beyond a certain level of punishment. And you know that physical punishment is not authorized by the law in Cameroon. It's not authorized like that as any other place in the world. It's not authorized. So the incident happened. It was already there. We came to see the consequences and try to treat the kid so that he recover his health. And I think that this morning he is healthy. But mentally, psychologically, he is very, very perturbed. So we took all the measures through the governor and the DO of Douala 3 so that they cure the guy correctly. We give a very, very few amounts of money for that. And we need a follow-up, a psychological follow-up. And once the child treat, we will try to see if he want to remain in the same school.
Ahead of the 2022 Women's Day celebration, some female civil society leaders embark on a peace promotion mission, a peace sensitization campaign, taking them to some schools where they are teaching students, encouraging them the importance to be peacemakers, the importance of peace, and how they can be peacemakers. Glory Mala reports. Mala Glory on that report there concerning peace in the Republic of Cameroon. The female civil society leaders ahead of the International Women's Day celebration, going to some schools and educating students, sensitizing them, encouraging them to be peacemakers, to be working for the peace of their country. And this is within a context marked by instability, violence, destruction going on in some parts of the country, particularly the northwest and the southwest regions of the country, threatening the peace, stability, and unity of the republic. And the women are encouraging the students to be peace lovers, peacemakers for their country and for themselves. Details with Mala Glory.
Promote peace and say no to violence. This is the message given out to students at the workshop organized by the Cameroonian Women for National Dialogue in the Douala 3 subdivision.
We need success, solidarity, sincerity, unity, non-violence, patience, yes to responsibilities. no to jealousy, no to conflict, no to lies.
During the workshop, a he for she activity was organized to let the students know that they need to work hand in hand with each other for a better Cameroon.
We decided to use the 8th of March activity to come to this school for two reasons. The first being to make the youth understand the 8th of March, what is the history behind the 8th of March, so that they will be able to give greater respect to their peers who are women, who are girls, and later on to their mothers in the communities.
As preparatory activities ahead of the upcoming International Women's Day on March the 8th, the Cameroonian women drilled the children on the importance of this day.
It is a campaign that aims at making boys and girls, women and men equal. And we are here today to show these young students that they have to work for the promotion of girls and women rights, and they have to be he for she ambassadors.
At the end of the peace-centered workshop, these students are expected to contribute in the fight against juvenile delinquency in the school milieu and the society at large.
And latest from Ukraine now, escalating conflicts in that country after the invasion by Russia is posing an immediate and growing threat to the lives and well-being of the country's 7.5 million people, especially the children. Humanitarian needs are multiplying and spreading by the hour, according to children, the United Nations Children Emergency Fund. Children have been killed, children have been wounded, and they are being profoundly traumatized by the violence all around them. Hundreds of thousands of people are on the move, and family members are becoming separated from their loved ones. The past 8 years of conflicts in eastern Ukraine have inflicted profound and lasting damage to children on both sides of the line of war, and of course many children are affected by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. They are being displaced with their parents, some of them separated from their parents, some of them killed in the course of the violence and the invasion by the Ukrainian army, or the Russian army rather. And that's it for the first part of this newscast. Talking Point is up next. Thank you for staying with us. Professor Mark Akumbom Anthony is our guest today, and we are going to be discussing the recent tragedy recorded in the Anglophone crisis, particularly in the Indian Division, Southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. Professor Akumbom Mark Anthony, you're welcome. Professor Mark Akumbom Anthony, a civil society leader, joining us online to discuss this other tragedy recorded in the Indian Division, notably the killing of the divisional officer of Equinoxe, the mayor, and 3 other persons. And this happened earlier today. They were caught in an ambush, and they died after an explosion. An explosive device was detonated, and they died in the course of the incident. And latest information streaming into our newsroom from Limbe, the southwest region of the country, indicates that the mortal remains will already arriving the Limbe Regional Hospital mortuary, and that is where our correspondent Derek Jato is monitoring the situation over there. And this is coming after other incidents of this type recorded notably in the northwest region of the country, where a nurse was killed by armed men, and before that 2 civilians gunned down by a soldier. And of course these are incidents that have been recorded and are still being recorded in these 2 English-speaking regions of the country within the context of the 5-year-long armed conflict going on there. And of course the conflict has left several persons killed, hundreds of thousands displaced, and many others who are living in precarious conditions, many also living in fear, uncertainty, not knowing exactly what could happen in the next minute as a result of the crisis that's been going on, despite the efforts of government to quell down the tension with the use of military force and dialogue. And of course, the major national dialogue came and passed, and its recommendations are already being implemented, and the regions put in place, the regional institutions put in place. Despite all these efforts by the government, the crisis has continued worsening, and we continue recording such atrocities in the two English-speaking regions of the country. We should not have Professor Akumbo Mark Anthony today due to some technical reasons. We'll certainly be back tomorrow. Thank you for staying with us.